it confirms, but if it's a little challenge, we'll force it to confirm. Therefore, if I want relative growth, you don't forget. Whenever there's a need for real transformation, I have to be able to let go of everything. Because if I don't let go of everything, that is going to hold me back from experiencing a new paradigm. How do you let go of everything? Now, when we learn Talmud Bavli, Talmud Yerushalmi, trust me, you shouldn't forget Talmud Bavli before you start Talmud Yerushalmi. Talmud Yerushalmi is a different type of learning. Now you'll ask me, what are you talking about? What, take out a Talmud Yerushalmi and learn it's a Mishnah, it's a Gemara. Because we learn already, we learn data, we don't learn existential truth. So when we learn Gemara, we're not really learning the Gemara. We're learning the prescription of the doctor. You understand? Every svara in Gemara is based on philosophical, psychological, and spiritual paradigms. What they give us is the last trickle. It's the final vart. The Tanaim and Amayroim, they had a way that they looked at the world. They had yisoidas that were very, very deep on every level: philosophical, spiritual, psychological, emotional, social, and therefore halachic, legal, and so forth. Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel, Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Meir, Rav, Shmuel, Abaye, Rava, Rish Lakish, Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi, Rabbi Yosef. But this is beyond the text. This is the soul of the text. And the soul of the text itself is layer upon layer upon layer. Talmud Yerushalmi was a whole different existence. It's a different paradigm. Balatanya says Talmud Bavli is Ur Chayzer, Talmud Yerushalmi is Ur Yashar. Talmud Yerushalmi is a straight light. Talmud Bavli is a light that bounces back. It's a light that comes from struggle. The Gemara says, Sanhedrin Chavdala, the Machshakim Shivani. Yirmiyah Navi says in Eichav, Machshakim Shivani, you put me in darkness. So the Gemara is Talmud Shal Bavel. Talmud Bavli is called darkness. Yirmiyah Navi is lamenting in Eicha that we're going from Eretz Yisrael to Iraq, to Bavel. We're being introduced to Talmud Bavli, being introduced to the world of darkness. Talmud Bavli is the world of darkness. And yet, Halacha Bavli, not like Yerushalmi. Why? Because if you don't work through darkness, you can't get to the light. But it's a different type of paradigm. It's a different modality. And the modality of Bavli would not allow Reb Zayda to experience Talmud Yerushalmi. It would not. He had to forget it. Doesn't mean he had to forget the facts. That's why it doesn't mean he had to forget he had to forget the Mahalach HaNefesh, the experience of Talmud Bavli. The same is true in a person's life. Whenever a person is looking to whenever a person is expected to go through a profound transformation, if they still retain a little bit of the old self, for safety reasons, it works for safety, but it does not work for growth. Real growth requires complete obliteration, which is always scary. Because when I jump off the roof, I don't know that the mattress is there to catch me. So I always hold on to something just in case. But the paradox is that if I don't jump, the mattress can't come out. I mean emotionally, I don't mean to physically jump. So this is the example of the seed. You take a seed of an apple tree, a seed of an apple, you plant it in the ground. An apple tree is not going to grow before the seed completely decomposes and rots. The moment of decomposition is painful because there's nothing left. At least if you would have this seed on your counter, you have this beautiful black seed, you can decorate it, you could laminate it. You put it in the ground, it decomposes, there's nothing left. But it's that state of ayin, of nothingness, that allows the metamorphosis from the lower yesh to the higher yesh, from the lower state to the higher state. It's the moment of decomposition that is really the moment of rebirth. Because till the moment of decomposition, I'm still holding on to an old paradigm. Emotionally, what that means is, we learn to live with certain paradigms that may be painful, but they keep us alive. It's called survival skills. We just live with it. It's like you learn to cope. To let go of all of that, what is going to remain of me? Nothing. That's why, this is what I'm going to talk to your Rebbitzins today about. That's why Lot's wife has to turn around. You know why she has to turn around? Because she believes that if she is taken out of Zdoim emotionally, there's nothing left to her. She will not recognize herself. There's no person. The only person she could recognize is the person in Zdoim. There's no other person. So he says, don't turn around. It's a new life. There's no such a thing. I will die. There's no me. So we always turn around. We need that older self to be able to give us some sense of identity. The Jews don't stop telling Moshe, Nitna Rosh v'nashuva Mitzrayim. Egypt is the place. That's the place. They were abused in Egypt, but that's what they know. At some point they say, Zacharnu es hadaga shanoicha b'Mitzrayim chino. We remember the sushi that we ate in Egypt.
They're not saying they want to go back. We just want to retain a shmek.
Yes. We don't want to go back, but we need the Egyptian paradigm. And Moshe is like, you're on a new path. We don't know that path because it's too shocking. I must have my old self. I must have. The addict's greatest fear is recovery. His greatest fear is recovery. Because the addict self is a horrible self, but it's a familiar self. The battered woman, the greatest fear is independence. Because the new life, I don't know. The old life, look, I survived. I'm beaten, I'm battered, I cry all day, but I'm here. I'm here. And that's what we do to ourselves emotionally. The Bzeira says, no, you have to forget the Choshech in order to experience the Oyer. So even Gan Eden HaElyon becomes a distraction. Understand, we're not talking here about distractions of abuse, trauma. We're talking here the trauma of Gan Eden HaElyon. What type of trauma is that? It's Ziv HaShechina. But when you're dealing with infinity, subtle distractions become worse than brute distractions. Gan Eden HaElyon could sometimes be a more subtle distraction, but therefore a more profound one. Because it's the particle of dust on the more refined lens. And the particle of dust blurs the whole vision, blocks the whole vision. We don't say remember Mitzrayim, remember Yitzias Mitzrayim. That you have to remember. Remember every day that you're capable of going out of Egypt. That's not easy. You think Stam the Torah says to remember Yitzias Mitzrayim twice a day? We see it as a boring mitzvah. Okay, here we go again. Laman Tiskuru, Laman Tiskuru, Laman Tiskuru, Laman Tiskuru. By the way, you know we went out of Mitzrayim? Oh yes, I learned it. Every child, right? Non-stop. Yitzias Mitzrayim. But if every child was told, if every 10-year-old in every yeshiva was told, if every 14-year-old girl was told, you know why you have to remember Yitzias Mitzrayim twice a day? Here's the deal. Whenever you wake up, naturally, de facto, we fall into a place of confinements. And twice a day you have to remember that you are never, ever, ever a victim of any confinement. Not addiction, and not depression, and not mediocrity, and not fear. You are capable of removing all your shackles and being free today. Now the question is, why only twice a day? It should be a chiyuv every minute to mention Yitzias Mitzrayim. Why only twice a day? In other words, morning and evening. That's a paradigm. So therefore, forgetting here is not forgetting the facts. Remember the facts. It doesn't mean here forget. You have to forget the facts. When the Neshama comes in the Gan Eden, the Neshama has to forget tefillin and tzitzis and sefer Torah. It's a tzaddik served Hashem their whole life in their lamaz. I have to forget everything. I have to forget my family. I have to forget. It's not pshat. Zoicher here means a different type of memory. There is memory where you're free, and there's memory where you're attached and you're not free.
It throws what on neurosis. You remember the moment. Yes. Put it on a plate. Then you
mean Mara,
right? Mara.
You quarantine the experience and you solidify it in a moment. You solidify it. When Yosef calls his son, he has a son Menashe, his first son. He says, "Nashani Elokim eskol amoli v'eskol beisavi." Miketz. Hashem made me forget the house of my father. Really? Yosef forgot that he had a brother Yehuda? I promise you he didn't forget. If he forgot, how did he then expose himself to reveal himself and say, I'm your brother? I forgive you. I thought you forgot everything. Forgetting doesn't mean forget. I don't know the information anymore. You could know everything. Forgetting here means I'm not living there anymore. Let go. I let go of it. Very good. I'm going to try to do that. Let go of it. So the memory